You hear the same line every payday: work more, earn more. That's the whole equation, or so you think. So you pick up an extra shift on Friday, the third week in a row. 30 extra hours this month. Same pay, same exhaustion waiting for you on Saturday. Nobody tells you about the other rule, the one that doesn't need your extra shift at all. It's sitting right now in your banking app, ignored, quietly working while you sleep, worth more than the shift that just wore you out. Before we go on, stop with me for a second. If any of this feels close to home, subscribe to the channel now, because the rest of this video is going to change the way you look at every dollar that passes through your hands. And in the comments, tell me, how many extra shifts have you picked up this month to cover something that could have been solved with one decision instead of 10 hours of work? Move 1. Net worth, not income. It's 10 a.m. and you're back at your desk at the insurance office. Your coworker Sarah spins her monitor around to show you the lease on her new car. This year's model, about $600 a month for 3 years, nothing down. I felt like I deserved it, she says, and you nod, because you know exactly what that sentence costs to say out loud. You and Sarah make roughly the same salary, work the same hours, get the same 3% raise every January. And yet, this one decision, a car, a monthly number, a signature, somehow makes it look like she's ahead of you. For a second, it feels that way too. You go back to your desk and open your banking app again. This time, you don't close it after the checking balance loads. You keep scrolling. Savings, $360. The retirement account you started a year and a half ago, matched by the company at 4%, sits around $2,200. No other investments, nothing else. You add it up in your head, then again on the calculator, and land somewhere just under $2,500. That number feels different than your paycheck. Your paycheck is a number that passes through you. It arrives and it leaves, toward rent and gas and the groceries you eventually bought. This number is what's left after everything else has already taken its share. This is what you actually keep. You think about Sarah's lease again, except now you're doing different math. Her car gets worth less every single day she drives it. Your retirement contribution is $180 a month, automatic, invisible, and it's the only bill in your life that makes you richer for paying it. Nobody spins their monitor around to show off a retirement balance, but one of these numbers compounds, and the other one depreciates the moment it leaves the lot. Move 2. Killing the debt before it kills you slowly. That night, you finally opened the message you'd been avoiding for 3 weeks. Your credit card statement. Balance due, $6,400. APR pushing 24%. Minimum payment, $160. You know exactly how you built this number. Slowly, the way most people do. A security deposit you didn't have cash for, an emergency dental bill, a flight home for your cousin's wedding you couldn't bring yourself to skip. None of it felt reckless in the moment. It felt like living. Your neighbor down the hall mentioned once that he just pays the minimum and doesn't think about it. It's like $150 a month, he said. That's nothing. You nodded back then. Tonight, on the couch, you actually run the math he never ran. At almost 24% interest, paying only the minimum, that $6,400 takes over 9 years to clear. And you'll pay more in interest alone than the debt itself. You open a new tab, not to transfer the balance, but to build a real number instead of an imagined one. $6,400 divided over 18 months comes out to about $355 a month. Not comfortable. That means canceling a subscription, packing lunch instead of ordering out, saying no to an event you were already dreading declining. But 18 months at that pace costs you around $1,300 in interest instead of $6,900. You set the auto pay for $355 starting Friday and watch the confirmation load, feeling something closer to dread than relief. Move 3. The emergency wall. 3 weeks into that auto pay, your car answers a question you never asked. The check engine light stops blinking and just stays on. 2 days later, it won't start in the parking lot outside your office. The repair estimate? $620. You have $360 in savings. You had that same $360 3 weeks ago too, before every spare dollar started going to the credit card. Sitting in the shop's waiting room, you finally run the math you should have run a month ago and realize you're short by nearly $300 with nowhere to get it but the same card you just started shrinking. This is the moment it stops being theoretical. All that talk about interest rates and compounding was true, but it was still just a number on a screen you could close. This is a car that won't start and a shop that wants cash before 5 o'clock. This is the difference between an inconvenience and an emergency, and the only thing standing between the two is whether the money already exists somewhere with your name on it. Your coworker Maya mentioned once she keeps 4 months of expenses in a savings account she never touches. Boring on purpose, she called it. It didn't sound boring anymore. Your monthly expenses land around $2,200. 6 months of that is $13,200, a number so far from your current savings it feels impossible. But you're not building it this week. You're building the first $100 of it, the same way the debt payment became real by just picking a number and a date. You open a separate account that night and move $50 you don't technically have room for. Move 4, the earning engine. Monday morning, your manager tells you this year's raise is 3%. Same as last year, same as the year before. You run the math before you're even back at your desk. After taxes, that's less than $40 extra a month, less than what you just started sending toward the emergency fund. You remember something Maya mentioned in passing, a freelance side project she does remotely, using the exact same software skills she uses at the office all day. It's not extra work, she'd said. It's the same work, just not capped by what my manager decides I'm worth. That distinction stays with you longer than the raise did. Your salary has a ceiling built into it, a percentage someone above your manager decides in a meeting you'll never sit in. But the actual skill you have doesn't carry that ceiling. It only has whatever limit you put on it yourself. That night, you build a profile on a freelance platform in about an hour, and days later, a message comes through from a small firm offering evening work at $22 an hour. Not a lot, but it's income with no ceiling attached, and no manager, and no 3%. Move 5, the ownership bet. Weeks later, that side project turns into a real offer. A small startup, a lower salary than you make now, but a small equity stake vesting over 4 years. You bring it to Maya over lunch. She reads it twice. That's a pay cut, she says, which you already knew. But you run a different kind of math that night. The gap between your current salary and the new offer is a number you can survive for a few years. A bruise, not a break. The upside, though, has no ceiling because equity doesn't work the way a paycheck does. Your 3% raise was capped the moment it was announced. This isn't capped by anything except how big the company gets. You send the acceptance email late that night, before you can talk yourself back into safety. Not because you're certain, but because you finally understand that certainty was never actually on the table, not even in the safe job. Move 6, building the fortress. Months into the new job, you're in a co-worker's car on the drive back from a client meeting when her phone lights up with her father's name. She lets it ring. He's turning 70 in the spring, she says, mostly to herself. I still haven't asked him where the will is. You think about your own father and realize you don't know the answer either. That night, for the first time, you look up term life insurance, not because anything happened, but because someone now genuinely depends on you existing. Coverage worth 10 times your income costs less than $30 a month, less than the monitor you bought for your side work. You open another tab and look into a basic will, under $200, one afternoon of answering questions about who gets what. You call your father that Sunday. He deflects twice, then finally tells you where the paperwork is, and something in his voice sounds relieved that you were the one who asked first. Nothing about that call feels like winning. It feels like maintenance, the unglamorous kind nobody posts about, but it's exactly what keeps a fortress standing once it's built. Somewhere between the debt you paid off, the bet you took, and the conversation you had with your father, you stop being the person scrolling a banking app at midnight bracing for the number. Not because the math got easier, but because you finally know which numbers are worth carrying.